Hello, wrestling fans! Welcome to another edition of the TNA Review, brought to you by UnifiedWrestling.com and 123wrestling.co.uk. I'm your host, Caesar Scorpio here. Let's get started with the action from this edition of Impact Wrestling, February 23rd, 2012. This action begins with Bobby Roode. The champ comes out, advising that his biggest achievement was not winning the heavyweight championship, but actually forcing Sting into retirement. He's advising that it was his greatest achievement. A lot of guys before have tried, have failed, and that is his claim to fame. As he's mentioning that, he's basically touching base with the tweet that Sting let out about a week ago, advising that I'm done. That's it. Just, I'm done. About a week and a half ago. A lot of questions in regards to that I'm done. Taz mentioning that he actually questioned with a bunch of question marks following that. I myself, Caesar Scorpio, at the Caesar Scorpio, tweeted back at Sting going, what are you talking about, Sting? So again, it's something that he's basically feeding off of. So he's advising that Sting is in the building, and he will elaborate on that later on during the show. That actually did happen. After that, we had Morgan and Crimson. Matt Morgan and Crimson talking about the actual loss they suffered to Samoa Joe and Magnus. Now, this is something that tough pill to swallow for these two guys, of course being the two most dominant forces in TNA. So they're advising that they're going to win this match here, this rematch on Impact Wrestling, expect to be champions, be on the same page. They were blaming each other at first and now decide to be on the same page. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts soon enough. Right after that, we have the first match of the night, which is actually Crimson, Matt Morgan versus Samoa Joe and Magnus, the tag team champions. This match was a lot of the similar things here that happened on the previous, and same thing happens here. We have Matt Morgan getting pinned by Magnus. After Samoa Joe sets it up, Magnus knocks it down. Now this again started up because of a botched move by Crimson and Matt Morgan. Crimson does the actual clothesline on Matt Morgan and basically knocks him out. As soon as he's out of the picture, we have, again, Samoa Joe and Magnus just picking up the pieces and getting the victory. So this looks like this tag team is eventually over. It was a lot of overkill, basically, from my standpoint. These two guys don't need to be a tag team. They are basically the most dominant forces in TNA. They're much more effective here as singles wrestlers. Potential 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, any way you want to cut it here for the heavyweight championship with these guys. Potential feuds down the line, to say the least. All right, so expect these guys to cause a force, but not as a tag team any longer. Nice while it lasted for some people, right? After that, we had Brandon Jacobs, for no apparent reason, still at Impact Wrestling. Now, again, I'm not going to harp on it anymore. I touched base on last week on how fed up I was with having this backup in TNA. But again, I guess his contract was for 2 shows. We got him again, and he's actually affecting here the main event. Advising that he wasn't very appreciative of the way he was treated here by Bully Ray, and he has something for Bully Ray here this evening, which we'll touch base on as well. Bully Ray comes out, and without getting into the ring, calls him Brenda, which I loved. Bully Ray, awesome job. And then he mentions that he has nothing to prove by beating up on this man. Then he touches base on the fact that the guy only got 57 yards and no TDs. He's not a big fish by any means. And Bully Ray's got a point there. Again, that's pretty offensive here to Brandon Jacobs, apparently. A guy that cannot hold a straight face. Keeps going. Because he can't help but smile. Bad stuff altogether. I hope that's the last time we see this guy in wrestling in general. Wasn't pleasant. But anyway, it's mentioned here that James Storm and Brandon Jacobs and Jeff Hardy are going to be in same corner here for the main event on Impact. After that, we have the second match of the evening. Zema Ion versus Alex Shelley. That is sick. Just saying that together is sick. And this match was not disappointing at all. These guys were going back and forth, high risk, low risk, and anything in between risk. We had actually Austin Aries sitting there ringside with his box of popcorn and red wine, taking in some of the action. This was a great match. Finally ends when Zema Ion goes off on Alex Shelley and does that flying knees, boom, gets the pin. This was a good match. He actually takes some hairspray when the ref's not looking, right in the eyes of Alex Shelley, and there you go. He handicapped him. So this is showing the number one contender still moving on here, still worthy of this actual being the number one contender and facing Austin Aries here at the pay-per-view. Cannot wait to see it. This is going to be nothing but fireworks. Zema Ion has proved to be one of the better wrestlers here at TNA and made his mark in the X division. Austin Aries is more than capable of making this classic wrestling match. So be ready here when we get this at Victory Road. Should be exciting nonetheless. All right, after that we had Garrett Bischoff giving his 2 cents as the reason why he has not been in previous Impact since the actual incident with Gunner, and that he's not giving up. He's going to keep giving his full effort. Hulk Hogan is shown there and a little cameo advising, brother, I think you should really call it quits. We actually have a big old bullseye on your back, and as long as you're in wrestling, Eric Bischoff, your father, is not going to give up. He's got a point there, and not really sure that Garrett is actually ready for the squared circle, but we'll see here in future shows to come. After that, we had the third match of the night, another great match. ODB with Eric Young versus the knockout champion Gail Kim. Now, Gail Kim came out by herself, but didn't stay that way. I'll go over that in a little bit. This was a great match. Back and forth. We had ODB going at it, actually laying the lumber on Gail Kim, the more fragile-looking superstar, but no, she's not that fragile. Gail Kim can hang it with the best of them. So these guys are, these knockouts are going back and forth. Finally, we have Madison Rayne come out, prove a little bit of a distraction to Gail Kim, but Gail Kim doesn't bug her. We actually have Eric Young coming in and out of the ring, trying to lock with the referee, trying to lock with, you know how he does, with whoever he can, and does not distract Gail Kim. Finally, even when it looked like Gail Kim had the upper hand, we had Eric Young hand ODB some liquid courage in the flask, and it looked like, bam! She's ready to go, but not quite enough. Eat defeat later, and Gail Kim is again the winner. Gail Kim does not want any part of Madison Rayne. When Madison Rayne comes in and tries to raise her hand, oh, you did it! Great job! No part of you. You're a backstabbing, and we don't want you here. Basically what she said. We had a little segment here where Madison Rayne tries to explain her actions as to what happened the previous week by winning that battle royal for the knockouts, number one contendership, and she states she was doing her a favor. She saw the level of competition that was in the ring, Sarita and Velvet Sky, and figured, no, she deserves better than that. I'm going to take over. We'll give a great match. Yeah, Sarita's a great knockout wrestler, and Madison Rayne, well, she had to do what she had to do. I'm sure it's going to be a better match with Madison Rayne than it would have been with Velvet Sky. And I'm a Velvet Sky fan. Not because of her wrestling ability, but because it's Velvet Sky. Who doesn't love pigeons, right? But anyway, it's better off being this way. Madison Rayne's going to be definitely a better matchup here for Gail Kim. Can't wait to see that here at Victory Road. After that, we have the actual fourth match, but not before we actually have a nice little segment about Jesse Sorensen. Jesse Sorensen, again, had that injury with Zema Ion at the pay-per-view, and we actually show his mother, Lori, giving her interpretation of what happened here at that pay-per-view. The way she saw it looked like it was an injury, wasn't quite sure until she received a phone call from Jesse Sorensen's cell phone, and she was kind of relieved because it was coming from his phone. But it was actually Dixie Carter advising her that her son is being hospitalized. Scary story, none to say the least. They're showing that it is a broken neck that Jesse Sorensen suffered, and he could be months before he's back in action. They showed him in the segment where he's wearing a neck brace, but he is now advised here from the show that he's at home recovering. Here at Unified Wrestling, we wish Jesse Sorensen the best, and I'm sure everyone, wrestling fans throughout, can wish Jesse Sorensen luck by just hitting on Twitter, #GetWellJesse. All right, hopefully he does just that. After that, we did have the fourth match between AJ Styles and Robbie E. Of course, Robbie E not alone, with Big Rob Terry, the List. And this was a very entertaining match. I have to say that Robbie E seems to be underrated. The guy obviously can handle a mic. He brings some moves here to the ring. He could take a beating. He actually took one here against AJ Styles. And just throwing it out there. The guy can hold out his own. He's worthy of the television title. Let me talk a little bit about that television title, by the way. That belt is rusty. They showed a close-up here as Hebner was holding it up, and that thing looked terrible. Terrible. It looked like it hadn't been polished in over 3 years. The thing looks rusty. It looks smelly. And come on, TNA. Upgrade your TV title. It's one of your authentic titles. Come on. Do something with it. Anyway, this match ends when we do have Kazarian and Christopher Daniels come out. Kazarian didn't even wait for Christopher Daniels. The guy marches out to the ring, decides to interfere with AJ Styles, and cost the match for Robbie E. So, but whatever, Robbie E still retains, and AJ Styles getting his butt kicked. So as soon as this happens, here comes Kazarian back into the back, and Christopher Daniels seems shocked. It's like, really? On your own? Wow. So this is something that's going to be exciting to see as it builds. Here, Victory Road should be an awesome build-up, awesome match. I can't wait for that as well. After that, we have the information here on the main event. Now, the main event is going to be, of course, Bully Ray and Kurt Angle versus Jeff Hardy and James Storm. Man, that is a great tag team matchup. Now, we, of course, had Brandon Jacobs come out for no reason here. Now, I'm not hating on him because I'm an Eagle fan. I'm just hating on him because he's a backup running back. Come on. Anyway, enough of that. Bully Ray decides to take the mic like he did from Christy Hemme here the week before from JB's hand and mention he's from Hell's Kitchen. He weighs 275. Really? 275. He's still milking that. And I want to talk also a little bit off track about his calves. Now, he does. He's got yoked calves, Bully Ray. But if I weigh 375 pounds and my calves have to carry that sort of weight, my calves would be yoked as well. Just saying, Bully Ray. Just saying. So anyway, this match begins. The action back and forth. This was actually entertaining here, main event. It finally comes to an end when we have the Brandon Jacobs cameo with James Storm. James Storm intimidates here not Bobby Roode, but Bully Ray just in time for Brandon Jacobs to pick him up, slam him into a table that Kurt Angle and Bully Ray had set up earlier. Smart thinking, guys. Anyway, that's the way this match ends. He gets his vengeance, apparently, talking about Brandon Jacobs, and now we get to move on to bigger and better things. This was an entertaining match, like I mentioned here. Jeff Hardy was doing great here in action. Bully Ray doing what Bully Ray does. One of the top 5 wrestlers in the business right now, according to UnifiedWrestling.com. And again, he's earned it. He's earned it all. So that's the way this actual ends, but that's not the way the show ends because we still have more to talk about here when it comes to Sting. Now, Sting, as we mentioned here before, tweeted about a week and a half ago that he was done. He comes out, says, it's true, I'm done. And that's all he gets to say before the champ comes back out and says, told you, you're gone. Sayonara, nice to see you, be gone. Sting says, no, you got it all wrong. What I'm done is, I'm done playing it halfway. I'm done playing Mr. Nice Guy. I'm done with the same old, same old. You brought Sting back. The old crow wannabe Sting. The Sting with the makeup, the garb. The Sting with the bat. And apparently, Psycho Sting was back. Interesting to see this. He's talking about Victory Road again, March 18th, stating that he's going to go ahead and fight this man for the belt. Now, don't tell me though if I'm wrong here. But wasn't James Storm the #1 contender? And now he's going to fight Bully Ray? Excuse me. James Storm is out. Sting is in versus Bobby Roode. Wow, something's not right. Seems like James Storm has been screwed again. Anyway, a lot to do here. A lot of other matches and shows before, now, and then. So we'll see if anything changes between now and Victory Road. But that's the entire show here of Impact Wrestling for this week. Again, not a whole lot of pay-per-view stuff happening. Again, no WrestleMania here until April, and we don't have another TNA pay-per-view until March 18th. So get comfortable. A lot of shows, a lot of things to cover up. Well, again, we'll bring it to you every week. From myself, Caesar Scorpio, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you guys next week.